Oh, the big news today, Illkay Gundogan, his future very much up in the air. Barcelona want him out, and he's pretty much accepted that fact. Manchester City, a possibility, of course, a team where he came from originally, had so much success. He could be returning to the Premier League, although there's also interest from Saudi Arabia and Turkey as well. For more on this, let's welcome intro. Frank Leboeuf is with us. Frank, what would you do?
Well, if somebody doesn't want you, you shouldn't say. Hansi Flick made clear that playing him and Lewandowski would be absolutely impossible because of the high pressure that he wants to put in. Therefore, I think it would be sacrificed because Lewandowski is the choice number one. Therefore, if you want to play, you want to enjoy your football, you can go back to Manchester City. That would be a good option if you can play. Or finish your career with lots of money and go to Saudi Arabia or Qatar. I would go. If you're not wanted, don't force it, because you're not at the age where you have to prove anything. Gundogan doesn't have to prove anything. He has proven that he's a great player, that he was a fantastic guy, and he had a great career. But it would be hard for him to challenge Hansi Flick and try to prove him wrong.
You could put a tactical spin on this, but really this is all about getting those wages off the board for Barcelona so they can get Dani Olmo in, for example.
Yeah, and also he was a bit of a big mouth last year.
What did you make of that? Obviously last year...
some of it was okay.
So last year he criticised the young players, of course, after they weren't sad enough, after the defeat against Real Madrid, and then came out in the PSG defeat as well, didn't he? And
it was the Ronald Araujo one I didn't...
Yeah, that was the red card.
It was the Ronald Araujo one I didn't like, an experienced player. A very good player who didn't have a very good season. And that was, to me, beyond the pale,
right,
of what you should and shouldn't. It's all very well, trying to give the young ones a bit of a shake and lead them in the right direction, then coming straight off the back of a disappointing game in Paris and say, hey, did you see him? He cost us. So I think there was quite a few things, and also I saw a bit of the show yesterday with Alex on, the bits where he didn't freeze. And he was right, he did. I mean, he was good last year, but he wasn't the Man City Gundogan. Mm-hmm. Okay, Barcelona are a work in progress, so it wasn't always easy for him. But look, I think when you put all those things in and his wages, this is Barcelona where they are, isn't it?
Yes.
Having to look to get people out. It was Frankie de Jong a couple of years ago. He refused. There had been others. Dembele was a big part of a push at one point. Eventually he went. But I would be disappointed if we just see another one go to Saudi Arabia.
Right. You'd like to see him back at City?
I think he's too good a player. I just think he's too good. Come on. He's got to be sitting on a pile of cash. Mm-hmm. All these guys have to be already sitting on a pile of cash. When is it not enough is enough? And to say, look, I'm going to go back to Man City or wherever it is, I'm going to finish my career, I'm going to play at the highest level. I understand there's two sides to this story, but I think once you go there, you've just sold your soul and you said, right, I don't care, I'm just going for the money.
I think the other side to that is Gundogan is 33 years old. So while we're talking about, yes, a talented player, but surely that time comes where you're past your sell-by date, certainly in European football and Saudi Arabia.
Is he past his sell-by date?
Who other than Man City?
Well, he was in the German national team for the Euros. I know he's just retired, but he was still
right. But on the money that he would be on, who takes that chance on a 33-year-old? And that for me, I'm not sure that, especially with profit and sustainability and everything that's going on, who takes that chance on Illkay Gundogan? I understand Barcelona wanting to get rid of him. It makes perfect sense, kind of given their situation and the incidents that both Craig and you mentioned. But who takes that chance on Gundogan more than just year by year? And I'm not sure that, well, other than Chelsea, which we may get to, I'm not sure that there's that club out there.
But why wouldn't Man City take him back in as long as there was no bridges burnt, as long as there was no doors slammed shut when he left, which I don't think there was. I don't really necessarily think that Guardiola wanted him to go, but respected his decision, have been a long servant of the club and the manager, a chance to go and play at Barcelona, a club that the manager himself had great success at. So I think there was nobody standing in his way. And I don't remember any of us sat here or anybody for that matter, when Gundogan left Man City, saying he's finished.
Yeah.
But he's finished. And he's an extra body for them. Don't forget, Rodri didn't play at the weekend. He is a guy who plays all the games generally, but it's going to be a long season. Kovac has done a great job. I know Gundogan's not a deep line midfielder, but it's another body in there. It's another body. Calvin Phillips is gone, out on loan again. Why would City, not even for a year, just say, listen, I tell you what, we'll take you back in. Can't guarantee you'll play as many games as you did over the last 3 or 4 years before you left for Barca, but you're going to beef the squad up at a time when they're probably going to get their biggest challenge from Arsenal.
And you get to live in Manchester again. What a treat.
And you get the sunshine and fish and chips. And all that sort of stuff.
So we could see Gundogan returning to Manchester City. Of course, as we discussed over the last couple of days as well, we could see Joao Felix returning to Chelsea. This looked closer and closer to being a done deal, but unlike last time, this would be permanent. A 6-year contract, 53 million euros. Conor Gallagher going in the other direction. Shaka, I know you've been away for a few days on your holidays. Were you surprised when you saw this?
I'm not sure that anything surprises me anymore with Chelsea, but I mean, this was kind of speculated on even before I'd been away, and didn't make any sense then. Continues to not make any sense now. Now, how do Chelsea Football Club find themselves in a position where they have to sell players or bring players in to save money that they don't need? Players that they don't need. Joao Felix was there previously. To Ian Dark's comment yesterday, did all right. I wouldn't be that kind. But all of a sudden now, you reward him with a 6-year permanent contract.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea have found themselves in a position that is simply impossible to understand or explain. And you cannot make sense of what they're doing. You cannot try to figure out what their long-term plan is. Made no sense 4 weeks ago, makes no sense now.
Bonkers. We sat here at the weekend and said, he hasn't found a place for the best Chelsea player last year by a country mile in Cole Palmer. And he stuffed him out in the wing, in the wide position to fit another midfielder in Enzo Fernandez, right? Because he wanted to play Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. So he had to shuffle Chelsea's best player by a country mile out of position. You throw in, you got Madueke, you got Modric, and you got Sterling, who's on the outside. You got all these other players, and Kunku, who played and wasn't very good, to be honest. So you got all these players. Now you throw another one in, right? And I've never doubted that Joao Felix is a talent, right? But we have a sample size here. In fact, even bigger than a sample. Here you are given a 6-year contract plus one to a player who was at your club recently and struggled.
Yep.
And struggled, right? That's. I mean, send these recruitment people and Todd Bowley the video of him struggling at Chelsea. Send them the video of him being inconsistent at Barcelona. At times good, at times bad, at times in the team, at times out the team. And yet, here we are, a 6-year deal for a player who's already worn the shirt and shown he can't guarantee to deliver on a regular basis. Well, he just goes in with a pile of players that come into that category. Cole Palmer apart, and one or two of the younger ones, there is a pile of players at Chelsea who the big question mark over their head is, can they deliver consistently? And they've just given a contract, a huge contract, plus 50 million, whatever it is, pounds, dollars, euros, I don't care. As Shaka said, you sit back and you go, they've got a guy up front who basically can't hit a barn door from 12 yards. He'll run all day. He'll run all day up front, Nico Jackson, but he's not a finisher. I know you lads talked about it yesterday. And yet here they are piling on this new manager, piling on with more of the same.
Yep.
If Joao Felix had gone to Chelsea and was a sensation and then had left and they said, well, tell you what, we could do with a bit of that back here. Let's push the boat out to get this chap back because he's going to make the difference. That's what Atletico Madrid thought. And it's never happened. What the hell's going on?
How happy are they? How happy are Atleti?
Two things continue to jump out at me at this. One, again, you ask yourself, what other club in world football does this deal but Chelsea?
Yes.
None. And second, to Craig's point, if you're Atletico Madrid, you take all 50 million of what you buy the lot, you buy lottery tickets. Because you cannot believe your luck in Chelsea coming up with this kind of money for a player who wasn't worth an Atleti shirt, wasn't worth it in a Barcelona shirt, wasn't worth it in a Chelsea shirt.
When he didn't do particularly, when he was inconsistent at Barca last year, and he did have his good moments, didn't he?
Mostly against Atleti.
When he first came in. As Shaka said, Atleti were sitting there going, oh my God, where's the pathway for this one? We can't see one. And there they come, steaming in like a bull in a china shop going, here's 50 plus for you. I mean, listen, we might all be wrong.
Yeah.
And he might resurrect his career. Because I'm telling you now, he needs to.
Frank, are we being too negative?
Yes, of course, doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's been proven that Joao Felix was struggling at Chelsea when he was on loan, at Barcelona last season, even if he started well. That it doesn't make any sense. I mean, they have to be vocal. They have to explain to us what is in their minds, because we don't get it. The only explanation for me is that they love us. They love so much Gunnar Gallagher that they wanted to please him, so they bought Joao Felix in order for him to go to Atletico Madrid. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it would be laughable if it wasn't so annoying and shameful. I don't get it. Yeah, I really hope, because I used to rank Joao Felix very highly when he started his career at Porto, and I say, well, that guy is a real talent. But he has proven that his inconsistency is huge, and I don't see him being the Joao Felix that we saw playing when he was younger. So, unless he proves us wrong, I have to tell you, they have to go away. I mean, those people, they have to go away. I love that club so much that I'm going to get ready for a riot if needed. Because they carry on like that, they're going to kill the club. Really. They're going to kill the club. And the fans, they're going to get crazy. They wonder what's going on. You know, I mean, Cole Palmer will have to play on the right side because they signed Joao Felix, and they will have to put him in. They will have no other choices. And therefore, the biggest assets will be on the side, and we saw it during the weekend, not being used like it should be used. So again, it doesn't make any sense. I don't want Maresca to explain to us what he wants to do. He just wants to, right now, please the club, have some political speeches. We don't care. I want the board to talk and to explain to me and the fans what they want to do, because we don't get it, really.
I mean, if they play, I mean, it's all hypothetical now, but if they want to play Joao Felix as a number 10 and keep Nico Jackson, then one of these, what's Lavia, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, that had to be the best part of 250 million between the three of them.
Yes.
Enzo been, I think, the most expensive, then Caicedo, and then Lavia might have been 60 million.
Yeah, it's quite a bit still.
It's quite a bit of stuff. Then you have to manoeuvre one of them. If you're playing him in the wide position, then you have another guy you paid quite a bit of money for in Nkunku, who hasn't looked great, it has to be said. You're looking at leaving him out unless you play Felix as the front man, which we know he isn't really. He can do it to get other people into the side. So welcome to Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, and have these problems about keeping players happy and fitting them all in and trying to build some sort of team around the system when you've got people behind the scenes. And what I want to know is, Chelsea talked big about their structure. You know, we've got the ownership coming in, we've got the financiers, and then we're going to go and get the best recruiters and scouts. And what they did was, and this sort of, I think, pegs it down to the shambles it sort of has become, is that they then got two guys in the recruitment roles and decided to have a dual recruitment role.
So it's not works well.
Have two teams.
Yeah.
It's not only on the field they're doubling up on every position, they're doing it in the recruitment department as well.
So as we mentioned, it looks like Conor Gallagher is going the other way. Then finally moving to Atletico Madrid. In theory, he might be available for Atleti's game this weekend, which you can see, of course, on ESPN+. That's the late game against Girona preceding that, Real Madrid against Valladolid, is the early game, which is not at 8 a.m. It is in fact at 10:30 a.m.
But to be fair, it's only 2.5 hours out.
And then before that, it's Barca against Athletic Club. Interesting game for the opening game in Montjuic this season. All those matches available on